Hello, Internet. So I have been studying basic understanding of psychology. And there's a couple of things that I've come across that is disturbing in the topic. So I'm talking about how psychology is taught out of Sweden and the Swedish system. So they talk about it being a new area of specialty, and it's still very young. So there's a historic part where the psychology began and where it is kind of today. And it just seems to be a mishmash of different theories smacked together. And the only part that seems to be entirely, let's say, scientific is the medicine. Now, it feels like you have some of the old parts still living around, even though it should be something we should walk from. Like the theory of behavior, for example, is very disgusting to me. It's basically you are mentally harassing people to get a response. They are unaware of the harassment they are under. So it's basically they are in psychology. They teach you how to manipulate and brainwash and use propaganda. Because the whole thing is about how to brainwash basically people to a natural response that you want. It's mostly used how you train dogs today, but it's still around in psychology as well. So that's pretty horrible if you don't like things like that. So being aware that exists might be good, so you don't get brainwashed by people and do things that they want you to do. And then there's the subject of PTSD and post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, these are people who have lived through trauma, horrible trauma of some kind, that has put them in a stress state. Now, this state has changed you, so you don't operate like you used to before the trauma was experienced. So, they've made a theory where you should expose yourself over and over and over again to your trauma mentally. This is also like a horrible thing where you go to a place and constantly relive your trauma in your head, in your memories, like over and 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 over. Like for me, it's like, is that really a way to get past it? Because it feels like you're either trying to harass the person to kill themselves, or you're trying to make them bored about their trauma so they don't no longer get the ill effect of it. And I don't know if any of those options are humane to do against a person that has undergone trauma. Like, is the treatment I'm almost feeling like the treatment is worse than the trauma itself. Like, the treatment is another trauma. Like, what the fuck is that? Relive your trauma over and over and over and over and over in your head. Like, how is that supposed to help the individual? Because and that brings me to the second part of this. In Sweden, we talk about integrity a lot. So if you're in healthcare and you're taking care of someone, or in either they're elderly, they're handicapped, or they are in the hospital, you're supposed to think about their integrity. So for example, if a person's family members show up, you don't talk about them and their situation, because you don't know if the patient wants you to tell the family about their situation. So you need to get their approval to do so. Without the approval, they have to tell their family members themselves. This can be, maybe you have a family that's very controlling and they are trying to decide what care you should get. They don't decide that is up to the individual. So if I make an example for, let's say that you need to do an exchange of blood or get blood or something like that. And you're a person that belongs to Jehovah's Witness, for example. They don't allow blood transfusions and stuff, not getting or giving blood, because it's a part of them. So, but let's say you have a person that is going to die or something like that. The family cannot decide that for them. So if the person wants the blood transfusion and go against the Jehovah's Witness family, like you want me to die for faith, basically, then we are supposed to help the individual, not listen to the family that are trying to force their family member to die for their beliefs. But when it comes to psychology, it's the reverse. When you are deep diving into a person, you're talking about the surrounding people that know you. So basically, the problem with this is that, let's say you have a family that dislikes you, they can easily talk ill of you. If they know enough about psychology, they can just feed the psychologist or therapist the information they need to brand you as a mental disorder. He's like this, he's like that, but they are just fucking with you. They are making you get this emotional outburst by treating you incorrectly. So they they are using the behaviorism thought. So they are triggering you, and then they are reporting your behavior. So they are making you insane and telling that to the psych evaluating people. Exactly how this functions, I don't know. Like, will I as a patient be aware of my family's or surrounding people's involvement? Because, I mean, you can have people, is your boss and the people at your workforce in on this as well? Like, can people basically throw you under the bus, like you're crazy, like everybody else deciding that you're crazy? How does that help? I don't think that it's very a good system, because it's like suddenly we don't give a shit about the integrity at all, and they don't investigate. Like, let's say you're followed. People are following you and fucking with you, trying to make you feel insane, and you go to a psychiatrist and you talk about it. Now you are paranoid because the psychiatrist will diagnose you on what you say. They will not figure out if you are followed. You are automatically paranoid because you're saying you're followed. They don't give a shit if it's true or if it's false. Because if people are following you, you're not paranoid. People are actually people are actually following you, and you're getting a natural response. When you're paranoid is when it's not true. You think that people are following you, but they are not. But if you are followed, you're having a natural response. So the problem is that if people are fucking with you, making you feel insane, then you will be branded as insane. So it's basically giving bullying a power factor, and you become insane, even though you're the one getting bad treatment. Like, I don't know if this is good. I think it needs work and rethinking a lot, because I think there's too many people who are aware of the teachings of psychology, and you can't just follow these simple, like, it's almost like a opinion corridor. So there's like you are automatically insane because everybody has grouped up against you, and the psychiatrist is not trying to be on your side. They are just evaluating, diagnosing, and medicating, and maybe locking you up. And how is that helping you in your situation? Like, of course, there are extreme cases of people who actually are insane. But if we have groups of people that are abusing the system, making people insane, that's like borderline criminal behavior things. So we can actually have innocent people that get bullied, branded as insane, and now they're in a crazy asylum, and now you have like a portion of society helping the bullies bully you when they don't have to bully you anymore. Now society does that for you. Like, what the fuck is that about? It's I don't think it's right. I think this needs work, and it's not a perfect system. It's something, but it really needs work, and some of the old stuff needs to be evaluated. Thanks for listening.